Forcible feeding is, to my mind, one of the worst forms of torture imaginable. The attack is brutal, the method primitive. When I was first forcibly fed, I offered only passive resistance. But after a few days, the process became so degrading, so morally staining to me, as well as increasingly painful, that I was obliged to resist. The struggle with 10 wardresses is severe, and in it the arms and legs are twisted and the hands badly cut by the wardresses' nails. After these 10 wardresses had overcome me and thrown me violently on the bed, 3 of them lay full weight across my legs. My knees are still painful, and I cannot go up or downstairs without difficulty. On several occasions, wardresses fell on top of me on the floor, once so severely injuring my ribs that I could not lie in bed on my left side for several days. Twice my head was thrown against the wall of the cell, owing to my feet being taken from under me violently. My face was blackened and swollen from this even after my release from prison. The process of driving the tube through the nose is very terrible, as the tube is usually too large for the nasal cavity. And when there appears any obstruction, more and more violent pushing is resorted to. On one occasion, Dr. Pearson almost tore my nose in his repeated efforts to force the tube through the opening. After 30 times of nasal feeding, my face, eyes and nose were so swollen and bruised that Dr. Pearson brought in a Home Office specialist. And after consultation, he announced that he would feed me by the throat tube thereafter. I refused to be so fed and set my teeth together, whereupon he ran his second finger through my lips, cutting them, and then finding the extremity of my jaw, he deliberately cut my cheek with his fingernail. I cried out at his cruelty, but he continued until, in agony, my teeth were parted and a metal spring gag inserted, followed by the feeding tube. By this time, the blood from my cut cheek and gums was running from the corner of my mouth, down the neck, into my clothing, and I began to choke violently. The pain of this operation was beyond my endurance. I was driven almost mad by it, and springing off the bed when they had left off holding me, I ran out of my cell. Dr. Pearson said I was in a dangerous state of mind and must be treated accordingly, with the result that they refused to open my cell door when I needed anything, and contented themselves with shouting at me as they would to a lunatic. The following day, Dr. Pearson told me he had decided to return to nasal feeding, and I was fed accordingly until I was discharged 4 days later owing to an attack of appendicitis. This was brought on by the hospital treatment I had been receiving.